What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Travis with Homebuilt 86. Thanks for tuning back in. Holy crap, I am holding a title for the motorcycle that I've been working on the channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, behind me is a 1981 Yamaha motorcycle that I've been working on and kind of documenting going through it. It's something that I wanted to do for a while, and I picked the motorcycle up back in September. It's taken pretty much this long for me to get a title on this motorcycle behind me. We'll kind of talk through some of that. Why did it take so long for me to get a title? Should you buy something with a missing or lost title? I have the checklist here of everything that I had to obtain and get form-wise to get that title. It's not something, I've heard a lot of, I guess, misinformation over the years, or rumors about how difficult it is to get a title on something. I've never bought something without a title. I think it's probably in most people's best interest to buy something with a title, obviously. But I just wanted to share that experience with you all. I told you that I would share that experience once I finally got the title. So again, I bought the motorcycle back in September for around $400, and I think it was probably a week and a half to 2 weeks ago that I finally got the title. So let's talk about that a little bit. I will try to keep this fairly short and just run through it pretty quickly. I bought the motorcycle. I'm friends with several police officers as well as the former sheriff in the county that I live in. I reached out to them and said, what is the fastest and best way to obtain a title? The former sheriff told me the best thing that he knew of was to obtain a court order. Talking with the former owner of the motorcycle, he was looking into this option and said pretty much the same thing. I did have to get back with that gentleman to get a bill of sale filled out. I knew better. I probably should have had him go ahead and fill it out whenever I purchased the motorcycle. But long story short, I ended up getting back with him and was able to get him to fill out a bill of sale. So after I obtained that from him, I went ahead and filled out an affidavit stating that everything was legit, that I was swearing that all the information was correct and that I was buying the motorcycle from the individual. I'm trying to think what else. I also then still had to obtain a inspection of the motorcycle here in my garage by a police officer. So all of my information and digging, I needed those three forms. So a signed affidavit, a bill of sale, as well as a VIN check or an inspection by a police officer to verify the motorcycle or boat or whatever it is that you're buying. I would say this is going to apply to pretty much anything you're going to buy with a missing title. So once I had those three documents, I then went to my local courthouse, found out which judge it was that I needed to get with about this issue, dropped the paperwork off with the judge's secretary. A couple of weeks went by. He filled out a court order basically stating for the state of Indiana to give me a title for the motorcycle. I brought that paperwork home. I think it was the following day. I ended up stopping by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. The court secretary had told me that she thought she had heard of some people being able to file for a title at the BMV. That was not the case. She said that she had also heard that sometimes they have to be mailed off to the state capitol. After getting to the BMV, they basically affirmed what she was saying, that it did need to be sent off to the state capitol. They then printed me off this checklist, which is a few more forms than what I had already obtained, as well as the court order. So just again, this was mostly a learning experience for me. I would not recommend doing this on something that you're trying to obtain a title very quickly whatsoever. I've never done this. This was just a project for me and me to be able to share my experiences with you all. So again, just to appease what the state wanted, I was able to print off the rest of these documents and fill them out as well. I had to fill out a collection of payment form, which basically stated how I was going to pay the state once they had verified all the paperwork was correct. An odometer disclosure form, I already had the inspection. There was an application for a certificate of title that I had to fill out, and I believe that was all of the paperwork, so probably 6-7 documents in total. I then came home, filled out all of that, and was able to then mail it off to the state. The judge had told me that it was probably my best interest to send it certified mail, so I did. That cost me about $20. It was gone for about a week and a half, and I got it back in the mail. I thought that was quick. You know, I was expecting to get the title. I had apparently missed a couple of boxes, literally maybe 3 boxes in all those different forms that they had sent it back for me to fill in and send back to the state. So I've now sent it to the state twice. I'm at about $40 in mailing fees for a $400 motorcycle. Another week and a half goes by. I received the packet back for a second time from the state. Now it's stating that all of the documentation that I have is incorrect. I was very frustrated. I did not understand how I could have possibly made it to this point. I have a sworn document declaring from a judge for me to get a title from the state, and I was still not receiving one. I called the 1-800 number for the state BMV. That was basically not of any assistance. The gentleman on the other end of the line and I could not see eye to eye. I was trying to explain to him the part where the story gets a bit screwy, and some people may or may not have this issue. Now again, I didn't have a title for this motorcycle, so I had no documentation to go off of. The only documentation that I have to go off of is the VIN plate right on the front of the frame of the motorcycle. And on the frame of the motorcycle, it says that it was made in December of 1980. Not wanting to lie on penalty of perjury forms to the state of Indiana, I put 1980. I knew it was probably registered in 1981, but I didn't have any documentation to say that that was when the motorcycle was registered. I figured the state could easily understand that since I didn't have any, previous registrations, the original title, etc., etc. But I figured that was common. It also didn't come back whenever the police officer had ran a VIN check on the motorcycle. Whether it was previously registered as an 80 or an 81, I don't really know, but the state basically had, when they were trying to get the title after I'd mailed it back a second time, they were trying to, I guess, go through the title process and could see where the motorcycle had previously been registered at some point as in 1981. So now, after receiving the packet back, all of the documentation that I had previously is now invalid. I couldn't get anywhere with the 1-800 number with the state. I then proceeded to call my friend who was the police officer that did the VIN inspection on the motorcycle. He didn't understand what the issue was. I even stopped by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, talked to one of the clerks there. She understood where I was coming from, did not understand why the state was not issuing a title. I had a sworn order from a judge, or a court order from a judge to give me a title. I had all the correct documentation. I then stopped back by the judge's chambers and dropped the paperwork off with them. He said if the police officer would rewrite the inspection to say 1981, he would get me another court order document. After going back through all of this paperwork basically twice, refilling out all of the forms and mailing it back off to the state for a third time for a grand total of $60 in mailing fees on a $400 motorcycle, I finally received the title. I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined it was going to be that big of a pain in the ass to get a title for something that didn't have a title. I get it. It's kind of the world we live in today. They have to make sure that they do their end of the paperwork and everything's legit, but I didn't ever foresee it taking 3+ months to basically get a title. So again, I wanted to share that information with you all because it isn't really something Again, there's a lot of hearsay and things that get thrown around out there. Never really talked to anybody that's gone through this process to get a title for something that has been missing. But again, I just wanted to share all that information with you all. It may either deter or compel some of you to go down this route. I know it affected probably how much I spent to get the motorcycle, so I was able to get it at a cheaper price than it probably would have been if the previous owner had the title. So again, it was mostly a learning experience for me. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, was to do a motorcycle as far as make it the way that I wanted and kind of take it all apart and put it back together from the ground up. So it's been interesting, let's say that. We appreciate you tuning into the channel. Again, just wanted to share all that with you. If you have a horror story experience with something similar, feel free to comment down below. If you have any questions about my experience with getting a title for the motorcycle, drop them in the comments down below. But we appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you all are enjoying the videos that I'm putting up on the motorcycle. It probably or may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I do have several different videos planned coming up soon, and I'm getting closer towards being completed on the motorcycle. So again, we appreciate all of your support. We look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care and have a good day.